One of the stumbling blocks for many women who are considering a solo road trip is figuring out where in the world they want to go. There are just so many choices. And for some people who have a hard time deciding between chocolate or vanilla ice cream, putting a map in front of you and saying, pick wherever you want to go, make a decision, it's just too much. They need help, right? And then there's other questions like, how long are you going to be gone? And how much time do you have to get there? And how much money do you have? And what distance are you comfortable traveling? It can start to feel like a lot. And then the excitement can start to go downhill. I get that. I have a great method for anyone to use to help make those destination decisions. It should work for just about everybody, and I'm putting that method to use today and sharing it with you, complete with fun examples. I'm Bing from WonderBing Travel, and I've been solo road tripping for quite a few years now. I live in central Pennsylvania with Lexi, my golden retriever, and I have, along with her in many cases, road tripped over 50,000 miles and to, I think, 46 different states now. To learn about why and how a solo road trip can change your life, I have a free gift for you. Check out my guide called Going Solo, the transformative power of a solo road trip. With the guide as your starting place, I can help you get from wherever you are now to those glorious moments of experiencing wonder on the road. Just click on the link in the description for wonderbingtravel.com/going solo. That guide, along with these ideas, is going to give you a great head start on where to go and also how to plan it all. So let's dive in. So a solo road trip is about trying new things. It's about stepping out in hope. It's about seeking freedom, seeking wonder, and finding peace. But that same question remains, right? Where? So the first thing to remember, though, and this is really important, and it's also very freeing, is to know that you get to make the decisions. So that is super cool, and I know it also might be a little overwhelming. Therefore, you might want a little direction. So we're going to break it down into 5 simple but understandable possibilities for you. We're going to look at cities. We're going to look at towns, smaller towns, the outdoors, which can include hiking and just sightseeing and all those types of things, just outdoor beauty. We're going to take a look at places that have a unique culture of some sort. It might be a very unique spot, one place, one building, one view. It might be an entire city. And then we're going to take a look at food and drink. And this is a series that I'm doing. You're going to see one of these maybe once a month or so, where I will look at a particular example of each of those. And also I'll put a link here to my introductory video on this topic, which was to sort of set the stage for more of a general idea. Be sure to check that out. Okay, so the city that we're going to talk about today is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I have to confess to my love of all things black and gold. I love the sports culture of Pittsburgh. I love the Steelers, but it's much more than that. Pittsburgh is a city that is rich in history. It's a little more interested in who it is as a city now. So it's a wonderful place where you can go and look back, but also enjoy everything that it has become as well. So when I lived there in the late 1980s, it was in the midst of redefining itself. And now it's just beautiful and super fun too. It has a robust arts culture, museums like the Andy Warhol Museum, places like Heinz Hall and the Benedum for amazing theater, amazing music. It boasts some of the most amazing ethnic neighborhoods with great food. So these people are super faithful to their city. Pride of place means a lot to Pittsburghers. They all bleed black and gold, but that's not just about sports. It's also defining them as people. They are hardworking people who love a good time. And I think the city reflects that, and the people are super friendly. It's one of the most walkable cities in the United States. Of course, it has the requisite skyscrapers like Mellon Center and the U.S. Steel Building It has major sports arenas, it has a convention center, it has plenty of hotels, but gosh, it has some really unique things too. Across the Monongahela River, that's the Mon to the locals, you'll find the Monongahela Incline. It was built in 1870, and it's the oldest continuously operating funicular, I just love that word, in the United States. From the top are just fantastic views of the city, especially at night or in a snowstorm. There's so many great reasons to go up there. And there's also great restaurants up there. Downtown, Market Square, PPG Place, there's so many different unique little places within the city. You can go ice skating in the city at PPG Place in the wintertime. Market Square boasts all kinds of little shops and kiosks and surrounded by really fun restaurants. It's just an enclosed little hug in the middle of the city. Somehow it is a bigger city, but that feels very small. And there are so many bridges in Pittsburgh. They all have names, they all have stories. It's really great. And I think one of my favorite things, though, are the tunnels that come towards the city. There are two in particular, the Squirrel Hill Tunnel and the Fort Pitt Tunnel. When you come through towards the city, just have these amazing vistas of downtown, sort of that wow moment. It's an easy city to call home for a few days. So much to do. So if you like a small, walkable city, you want lots of things to do, I would definitely check out Pittsburgh. Okay, let's move on to number 2, which is our small town. And we are going to go about as far away from Pittsburgh as you can be into Anacortes, which is in Washington State. And it sits all the way off the mainland of Northwest Washington, almost 2 hours northwest of Seattle. So it's a long ways away from at least where I sit right now. You can get there by car from Seattle, but depending on which direction you're coming from, you may need to take a ferry, which is kind of fun. It's a charming little town, and it's full of the requisite Pacific Northwest coffee shops and little kiosks that just sit alongside the road for coffee, and show-stopping views across the water to the San Juan Islands and also towards Victoria, Canada. I love the downtown, though, and I really enjoyed walking into all the local shops and the restaurants. The people there were very friendly, very kind, and there are plenty of short-term Airbnbs nearby, both in and near the town. I ended up staying just outside of town, maybe 3 or 4 miles, in a beautiful farmhouse that had views of the Olympic Mountains in the distance. I mean, it was just heavenly, and it was over a lake, and it was awesome. Just a few minutes drive from Anacortes is Deception Pass, and you can see photos here. It's one of the most stunning scenic spots in all of the U.S. and it has this amazing bridge, wonderful hiking nearby, great places if you don't want to hike, you can just drive and see the views. It's really spectacular. And I must tell you, my favorite bookstore that I've ever been in, and it might have something to do with the food, I'm not sure, but it is just the most spectacular bookstore, is called Pelican Bay Bookstore. It's a used bookstore, actually. It's in downtown Anacortes, and you cannot go there without sitting down, you can see in the picture here, and trying the rosemary sea salt rolls. Someone recommended them to me, and I gave it a try, and they are life-changing, I have to say. I think about them all the time, even though they're 3,000 miles away. So I went back on a few occasions just to sit and read and, have a rosemary sea salt roll. So spectacular place. I highly recommend the Pelican Bay Bookstore. All right, this next part is for all my outdoor girls. I could write for the rest of my days and not even begin to scratch the surface of the beautiful spots across our country. So it's probably a good thing that I'm only going to talk about one today. Lexi, the Golden, and I took a trip that took us across the Upper Peninsula so that we could explore the different Great Lakes. It was such a happy surprise. I could not believe the color and the beauty of the water, especially Lake Huron and Lake Superior. Those just happened to be two that I remember most vividly. So it was a happy shock, just how clear and beautiful it was. It actually looks more like the Caribbean than it does Michigan. Lexi and I had a great time. She fetched stones and swam every chance she got. It was wonderful. I loved it so much. And my favorite spot along that trip path was Mackinac Island. It is way more than I can explain right now. Look it up. It is just a beautiful little island you have to take a ferry to. There is no traffic, automobile traffic on the island. It's all horses and buggies and walking and biking. So pretty great. Okay, unique culture. So this one's a little unexpected. All right, so stick with me. It's not what you're probably thinking, something grand. It's not. It's a Starbucks. There's a story, and it's actually one I didn't know about until after I visited there the first time. So this particular Starbucks is tucked into an adorable little yellow house in downtown Breckenridge, Colorado. And it has this little sign out front that would be super easy to miss if you weren't desperately in search of, let's say, a chai latte, for example. 225 Main Street. That's the address. It's a little house, and it has a past. And I looked up the past, and I love the story, so I'm going to share it with you. I learned that a woman named Theda von Thun had been born there. In 1911, she was born in the house, and she grew up there. And it's a tiny little house, too. She married Frank Brown and then raised her family in that same little house. She stayed there until she died in 1993. So she lived there for 82 years. She and her husband were really pioneers of this, what was a former mining town. Now we think of it as like the ski lovers' paradise, but it was at one point, it was almost a ghost town. Crazy, right? Some quick research uncovered that she loved to entertain, and that she loved, this is my favorite part, she loved to dress up in her grandmother's wedding dress when she entertained. I just love that. And then even better, I learned from a friend who lives there. She told me a great story about a friend of hers who actually purchased a sweater at an auction that was full of Theda's personal belongings. And so apparently it's a thing to wear your sweater and say, well, this is a Theda Brown. So her legacy lives on. And the house still has that homey feel, and it feels more like local coffee hangout than big chains. So that is my sort of unique cultural place of the day. Tip about Breckenridge, so many things, but my favorite walk in Breckenridge is just the downtown river walk. It's just behind the shops on Main Street, so you can't see it if you're in a car. And you can walk the meandering path along this gorgeous, rushing, but small river. It's pretty narrow, the Blue River, but it's just rushing and beautiful and everything you want a little mountain stream to be. So you can actually sneak out the back door of Starbucks to get there. Okay, the last one is food and drink. So eating my way and drinking my way across America is fun for me. I enjoy trying new things and new places, and it is one of those things that helps me figure out where I'm going. I usually uncover some pretty great things. And one of my favorites is actually the Scottsdale, Arizona Saturday Farmers Market. It just has a really cool vibe. It also has amazing coffee places. It has meats and cheeses. You can buy homemade mozzarella. There's great dumplings there. And then oddly enough, at least I think it's odd, there's always this farm stand that has cauliflower in every color under heaven, which is really beautiful, but kind of strange. For a town that has to be far from the farms where most of the produce comes from, they really do a wonderful job providing all the beautiful fruits and veggies. And my insider tip about the Scottsdale market, okay, but this isn't food or drink, but my favorite spot, my favorite little vendor there is the Double Blessings lotion and soaps. I've been buying the soaps for years, and I love them, especially the charcoal soap. So be sure to check them out. So many places, such a short life, but I'll keep sharing more and more. Maybe some of these resonate with you specifically, maybe they don't, but hopefully what it does is it gives you license and imagination to start to think about cities and towns and unique places and food and drink that are really interesting to you. So grab your map, get the Google going, whatever it takes. Grab a hold of ones that call your name, or maybe something that just reminds you of another place you've been wanting to explore. It really is all about the journey, and it's your journey. It's not mine. I'm just sharing places that I like. And if you like them too, awesome. Go check them out. But find your own as well. Be sure to subscribe to WonderBing Travel so you don't miss updated videos with more amazing places, but also everything you need to create your own road trip. from that dreaming stage, which is what we're doing today, all the way through to the execution of your amazing journey. I hope you'll let WonderBing Travel be your guide for freedom and wonder on the road. I'll see you out there.